if you don't know me, if you don't follow me, I'm Gwen. I'm a therapist here in the Seattle area, specialize in trauma, both lived experience, intergenerational, ancestral, and not both, all of these things, and social, societal, systemic trauma. Um, and I utilize a lot of different somatic practices and modalities. I'm saying a lot today. I just learned about the shooting of the woman in Minneapolis by the ICE agent, and so I'm sitting in that a little bit and having my feelings about that as and also having just come off a call with a client who's also going through a lot right now, as most of my clients are right now and have been for a while. So, so before I dive into our grounding and doing the and then doing the other little nervous system exercise, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I feel like somatic work and nervous system regulation are so important. A while ago, I don't even know how long ago, maybe 6 months ago, I was seeing a lot of pushback online about nervous system regulation and how our nervous system shouldn't be regulated because of all that's happening in the world. We should be activated. We should be, our anxiety should be really high. We should be depressed. We should be like having feelings, having normal human reactions. And that we shouldn't be trying to suppress that through nervous system regulation. And I agree that we should be being activated by the events that are happening in the world and by the events that happen in our lives. We should be having reactions. Our reactions are very appropriate given the state of the world and the ways that we are oppressed and abused by our government, and then society in general, depending on who we are and where we live on the margins. And with that said, I think it is also absolutely vital that we are able to come into our bodies, to be present to our front brain, where or our prefrontal cortex, where we do all of our logic and creative thinking and all of that, instead of living in our fear-based amygdala and fight, flight, freeze responses. And so that's why I believe that nervous system regulation is really important, not to bypass our feelings or responses or reactions to what's happening in the world or in our lives, but rather as a tool to help us then respond instead of react, and to make choices that fit more appropriately with our own personal values and core self and soul and beliefs and all that. So, because staying in our fear-based brain is, it's incredibly harmful. It's harmful to ourselves physiologically, can create a lot of health issues, and it's incredibly detrimental to our interpersonal relationships. And so that's why I do the work I do, because this is the only way we're going to get through this all is together. And so in order for us to get through it together without reusing the master's tools, in Audre Lorde's words, is to not use the tools and to not be acting from fear, and to be doing this work, and to be able to be in relationship with ourselves and others and our planet in ways that aren't abusive, aren't harmful, aren't acting from our totally wounded space, et cetera, et cetera. So with that said, why don't we get started? And we're going to do a little grounding. We're going to do 5 minutes of grounding, and then I'm getting my stopwatch up. And then we'll do a nervous system. Not sure what one I'm going to do yet, but we'll do a nervous system exercise. So, if you like, I assume folks are sitting down. If you're not sitting down, I invite you to sit down. If you can't sit down for whatever reasons, you can do this standing up or lying down. Just at the beginning, you need to kind of change in your own mind where you're giving your focus. So if you're sitting, we're focusing on our seat at first. If you're standing, focus on your feet at first. And if you're lying down, focus on just your whole back area. At first in the first one. And then after that, it's, all of it. So if you like, put your right hand at heart, left hand over the top, applying as much or as little pressure as feels good. Breath in and out. And you can have your eyes opened or closed. You do, again, what feels good for you. Just continuing to breathe, allowing shoulders to release. Just coming into your breath and into your body and into the now. If your mind's racing, that's okay. If you want to quiet it, just keep coming back to focusing on inhaling and exhaling, feeling your hands there at your chest. All right, now we're going to do our 3 slow breaths. So it's a slow 3 in, a full 9 out. It doesn't have to be a super deep breath. It could be just whatever feels good for you and your lung capacity and where you're at. The important part is it's slow. Okay, so a slow 3 in and a full 9 out. And another 3 in and 9 out. And one more 3 in and 9 out. Allowing your breath to settle. You can keep your hands at your heart or you can let them drop. You do what feels good for your body today. And noticing your seat where you're sitting, or your feet if you're standing, or your back if you're lying down. Just noticing how rooted you feel, how supported you feel. Noticing if one side feels more connected than the other. And now we're going to notice torso from hips to shoulders, where you are in space. Just noticing if you're leaning or tilted or turned in some way. If you want, you can adjust your body, but you don't have to. This is about noticing, becoming aware, and noticing neck and head, where they are in space. Just seeing if they're tilted or turned, twisted in some way. Again, bringing awareness. Excuse me. If you get the yawns, that's a good thing. Tapping into that parasympathetic nervous system. That's what we want to be doing. Noticing arms from shoulders to fingertips, where they are in space. Noticing where they're touching your body, if they're touching your body, if they're touching each other. If you have more awareness of one arm or the other, certain parts of your arms. Continuing to breathe. And noticing legs from hips to toes, noticing where they are in space, how they're connecting to where you're sitting, if you're sitting, where you're lying, if you're lying, just noticing where they are in space, if you're standing, noticing where they may be touching each other. If you have more awareness of one leg or the other, certain parts of your legs. We'll do one more slow breath. Excuse me. So a slow 3 in and a full 9 out. Okay. So I invite you to just take a moment and just acknowledge to yourself what you noticed during that exercise. At noticing if while we were in theory focusing on our torso, you were really noticing your knee or like, any of that stuff. I'm just making note to yourself of where your mind was, what you were noticing in your body at that point in time. If your mind was wandering, if you had to bring it back, if you chose not to bring it back, like all of that. Just taking a moment to make note. And then I think we're going to do hand trace today. So hand trace, like most of these exercises, is exactly what it sounds like. We're tracing our hand. And so we'll do a minute on each hand. You take so you take the index finger of, I'm doing index finger of my right hand going onto my left, the palm of my left. And you want to trace I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. You want to trace the lines or the outline, or you can draw shapes on your palm or whatever feels good for you. You don't have to hold your hand up like that and have it, resting down. I'll have it held up so you can see what I'm doing here. And you can be using as much or as little pressure as feels good. Sometimes one hand asks for more pressure than the other, and that's okay. Just means that hand wants more pressure than the other one, or maybe not. So just breathe. We're just tracing our hand, palm of our hand, and our fingers, and maybe the low part of our high part of our wrist, whatever this part is. This part of the wrist. Whatever feels good. And keep breathing. All right. Give that hand some love. And then we're going to go over and we're going to do the other hand. So I'm, what is this? Index finger of my left hand onto the palm of my right. Again, just tracing the lines or the whole outline of your hand or drawing shapes. I like to do figure eights or infinity signs, whatever, in the palm of my hand. That feels nice for me. But you do whatever feels good. And I'll do this for about another 45-ish seconds. All right, give that hand some love. And you can shake if you like. Shake your hands out, or you can do a little stretch or whatever feels good for your body, or you don't have to do either of those things. Or you can do both of those things, whatever feels good. And then why don't we do one more today? Just because I need it after learning about the murder of the woman in Indianapolis. Let's do lip tap. I know I've done it before, but it's a nice one to do, and it's really simple, and most of us can do it anywhere. Um, so just taking index finger of whichever hand, dominant hand if you like, and just tapping away at your lips. And what will happen? Um, it's already happening for me. What happens the more you do this is your mouth starts to fill up with saliva. And that's exactly what we want to happen because it's activating the digestive system, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, sex, digest system, um, the not our fight, flight, freeze system. So just tapping away. You can stay in one spot. You can move, around your lips. You do what feels good, as gentle or as firm, as fast or as slow as feels good. And still breathing. Okay, give your lips a little bit of love. Um, and that is going to be that for today. If you are interested in working with me one on one, I do still have just a couple more in one on one spots available. A sliding scale is always available. So if you see my regular rate and you're like, "Ugh," which I would be if I were looking for a therapist and saw that, please know that I do have a sliding scale and it is available. And really, I really try to work with folks to make sure that they can get the support they need while also making sure I'm getting the support I need to pay my bills and do all the things that I need to do. So that is there. If you're not on my Substack, there's writing going up all the time now. I'm in my writing flow again after a couple of years of it being really not really there. So it's been nice the last 11 or so months to have that flow back. It's felt good. Um, and yeah, I hope that you have a good rest of your week, or if you're watching the recording, rest of your weekend. Hopefully, I'll have this up by Saturday. Maybe I'll have it up before. Um, and I will be back next Wednesday. So I would love to see you then again. Um, and yeah, okay, that's all. Talk to you soon. Bye.